Okay, this one I don't know why I left it out of my review for Dungeon Dice Monsters. I only have vague recollections of what was going through my head and why I decided to cut it out, because I originally planned to actually make it a dual review. But one of the memories that came to me was that, one, I couldn't actually balance both games effectively because I felt like one would overshadow the other, which would be Dungeon Dice Monsters. And the other one coming to me now after starting to replay it was, oh god, I didn't ever want to talk about this game again, because it is one of the worst games I have ever played. And I put it up there with Final Fantasy 13 and, I don't know, I'll inserting something random later, but it will be a game I actually hate, and we'll talk about it someday. In any case, why didn't I mention it? Well, as I never stated in the review, I actually got this on a dual pack, meaning I got that game and Dungeon Dice Monsters. So I actually got to play both. Joy, and was the worst version to play of either game, by the way, but I'll explain that in the review. So this is Dungeon... dang it. I'm sorry, because I would rather actually play that than this. This is Destiny Board Travelers. This game begins by selecting our language, and that's it. Wait, this sounds vaguely familiar. Yep, exactly. There is no story mode, like last time. So here's a game and just go play it. Wait, what? You wanted a story mode for fun character moments? Fuck you, take this and you'll like it. Yeah, you can generally guess my hate for this game is going to bleed out in this review, and it honestly deserves it for all the horrible decisions it made. Where do you even start with a game like this? Well, we could always start with the beginning of, what is this game? This game is a board game in the vein of Monopoly. Yes, because that's what we needed. Another fucking Monopoly game. And yes, there are a bunch of Monopoly games of this for some godforsaken reason. And yet they somehow figured out how to make it worse. I can't even joke about that. Well, to begin the game off, we need to choose a character, and this will be important. I chose Yugi for my first replay of the game, because after... how long? Because I don't remember ever playing this game much, and the last time I did it was like in 2015? Yeah, that was a few years ago. Yeesh. We then get to select how many points we are going for, which is an idea that can be abused, and I'll get to that in a moment. But it will usually default to 15 every time, as it's sort of a reasonable number that any bigger, the match would go on for way too long, like an hour. And there is no option to save the game to play it later if you're playing alone. Why this wasn't even given to the player is beyond me, but it doesn't matter because you don't want to even play this game, as I will explain. The game is played on a 12-tile board, where basically you just go around until you win. Yay. This game works by basically you having a deck. How much? Not sure. I've actually never could tell because it seems unlimited. You draw a card at the beginning of your turn. And no, there are no spells or trap card in this game for some reason, even though they could have actually improved on the game and actually making it interesting. You can then select a few of those cards to be put on one of the face dice. Then roll. Depending on who you land on, it will actually move that many spaces depending on the level of the monster, though that doesn't mean you have to have all the dice's face filled. You can actually roll and hit nothings and you won't be able to move. Though before you can place it down on the board, you need to actually battle someone. Mostly, if it's blank, you can actually just put it down on the field unless it requires a sacrifice, which can be done by sacrificing your own monsters on the board, depending on if you have any on the board. More times than not, you'll actually be battling a creep. No, not this creep! You can then battle them, and if you win, you can actually take the spot, increasing your star level, which once you reach the number at the beginning of the game, you win. I know, sounds simple enough, and it is, until all the other bullshit starts to ring its head at the door. It starts beating you down, as it basically starts to become brutally unfair at multiple times, though ironically can become really easy at that same time. It's a complicated game like that, and not the fun kind. Okay, remember the battle thing and how I made it sound very simple? Well, again, like I said, it is. But then they added some random bullshit as they somehow decided to make it more bullshit by adding the dual die, and fuck this thing. This dice basically can do nothing at most times, and sometimes can let you win the game or lose the game over many times. Like me. Most of the sizes are misses, meaning nothing will happen. One side has reduced the monster's attack points and defense points, by the way, by 500, and you'll sometimes get that. But the one that really gets on my nerves is the bastard that switches battle position, which will make you sometimes lose a duel for no adequate reason other than you're not attacking and no monsters are getting destroyed. And this is where the bullshit starts to happen. During one of my games, when I was actually recording this, the game actually made me roll this 3 times in a fucking row somehow. Even though logic would dictate that this would be so hard, I think I should have done the lottery. And I think that would have been more enjoyable than this garbage. This bastard can screw you over a little hard win challenges. Or I would say hard winning if there was any challenge. But then again, this game's a weird mess. The dice just really is just random chance. And that's no fun. Instead of tactful mastering of the game, using what's in your hand and trying to use that to your advantage. No. This game is just a big what the fuck and trying to hurrying up to summon up enough monsters or have a few strong ones just to win the game. And it's even more bullshit when you also remember if you sacrifice a few monsters to summon some high level monster against a foe and it does change battle position, you still lose and that monster goes back to your hand. And no, you don't get your monsters back because the game won't have any decency to return them because screw you, that's why. It wasn't your fault, it was the stupid game programming. Good God, who designed this? Okay. Let's actually talk about some of the good stuff about this game before I dunk it harder. The graphics are nice at least. There's nothing wrong with them. Didn't make me turn them off because of them. If anything, I wish there was a game that kind of looked like this. The music was okay, but that's okay. And maybe one track I actually liked, but it would always play so quickly. It's so repeaty too much. I actually got the dub voice for the game. That's cool. Except for Kaiba Man, but then again, that's a weird thing. I think that's it. Oh, wait. The cool reference to the Reshef game. Reshef? What the hell do we call this? With the main character. Wait. I know this game. Yeah, it's the exact same style of the GBA Shaman King game. I knew it, I saw it from somewhere. Oh, one more thing, at least the game's AI is at least fast and won't waste your time too much. Too much being the key term. Actually, going on the AI for a moment, it is really dumb. Rather than actually rolling something that can actually be summoned, they rather, for some godforsaken reason, would roll a dice that's with a monster that's too high that they can't even summon. Pegasus did this way too often for me in times, and I had no explanation of why. It can be helpful if you want to move to spots where some of the boards actually have abilities, which are kind of interesting, but you'll most likely never play those because of having to win with certain characters, which is easier said than done. And hell, if you're doing it with the dual pack, you're not going to even get any of these stages. Why is that? For some godforsaken reason, some of the characters needed to unlock some of the other stages are locked behind a password screen. Well, password screen in the sense of the title screen. For some reason, there is no explanation. We never got one. But here's the more bullshit part. It's impossible to unlock these characters on the dual pack because if you press the B button, which is one of the buttons needed for the password, you'll head back to the menu to select the game. And no, you can't unlock them through that manner. So literally meaning, because of owning the dual pack, that means you cannot unlock the other characters. They literally chip their own game. I don't think I would need to continue on explaining what's wrong with this game if, like, that is one of the biggest screw-ups I've ever seen in my life. Though, speaking of characters, most times I lost due to being unable to win with the cards they had. And it's almost the worst feeling of losing because of the random choice and not because of your poor planning or of choosing what cards are in your hand or your deck, you know what I mean? Or bad moves you made. Seriously, it's annoying. What's worse is you can win by pure luck too, because fuck you, that's why. Yeah, here's why I say it's not as easy with any other characters. Some characters are literally broken. Okay, remember when I mentioned picking a character at the beginning? Well, instead of them just being player pieces that the player can just choose for fun, no. They actually have superpowers that can either do nothing like My Valentine's lets her see down cards. Yes, that's very useful at times when most player cards are revealed, and the only ones who don't are creep cards, which aren't very useful, or can win you the game. Yeah, you want to know how? Okay, what is Yugi's power to be exact? For whatever reason, he has the power to basically use change of hearts on anyone's card, including your foes. Literally meaning you can take a foe card for no cost and win the game. Sure, sometimes it fails, but I have never seen this one before. And yeah, I won the game with this power on my first replay of the game. Good God, why do this? This just breaks the balance already when you have a player have an ability that's really, really breakable. Also, some decks have an imbalance of good cards, and it's really bad. Like, Kyber has a lot of high-level monsters, meaning he's going to have a hard time with summoning stuff. Yugi at least has a good balance of cards, so he's good. Mokuba has an okay selection of cards, but it can actually steal cards from other players with his superpower, so I don't know what to think about his composition. Yeah, going back to superpowers, since they can happen randomly, there is no planning for it. And just meaning, if you get them, you should just use them because they are that broken. Or not that useful, so you might as well just get them off your screen. And that's the game in a nutshell. Waiting until you win or lose. There's no fun or interesting things about it. You are just literally waiting for something to happen. Well, this was my review for Destiny Board Travelers. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't want to put a live segment of me here because I was wondering if that might help me, but in any case, next time we're doing Persona 1. Yeah, I know, right? Weird.